Alex Jones Show, because there is a war on for your mind.
Last Sunday, we were sitting here only 2 days out from the presidential election, chewing our fingernails. I was telling you that the internal polls showed Donald Trump was going to win basically every swing state unless Hillary tried to steal it. Well, we were proven right. He did win, but she successfully stole at least 5 states. The numbers are overwhelmingly clear. I had Bev Harris, the Democrat, the liberal, the top election fraud expert in the country, extremely bipartisan, totally respected. And she came out and laid out the fact that they were going to try to steal it from Trump beforehand, and they certainly did. And she concurred on those key states where Hillary, the evidence leans towards, stole it. Lots of evidence of late night, right as the polls are closing, some precincts getting 100% of the voters voting. That never happens. Or sometimes more than 100% voting. Major evidence. But despite that, still Donald Trump becomes the 45th president of the United States. I want to pull back here before I plunge into all the latest news and information. And I want people to savor this victory. I was the one Tuesday night, Wednesday morning saying, look, they're going to counterstrike. Soros will fund a bunch of riots. They're going to try to block him in Congress. Our fight has just begun. But it is important to basically think about what we have done together, because it's big. It's very, very big. The entire establishment media has been discredited. All the pollsters have been turned into laughingstocks. The entire political correct cult trying to bully this country into submission to cultural tyranny has been blown into a million pieces. And the successes go on. Globalism itself and the fact that crony capitalists control and manipulate the system worldwide has been exposed. This last year-and-a-half campaign did more work to expose the global tyranny than all of the liberty movement's 60-year history to try to restore this republic. Because we're coming towards the peak, the crescendo here in the next decade or so, maybe even sooner. Donald Trump is already moving to fulfill his promises, announcing he's going to reverse the climate deal Obama signed 7 years ago without congressional approval. I have the articles right here. We'll go over them in a moment. We have John Kerry trying to race to get it ratified with other countries globally and completed before Trump takes office in 2 months. Think about them apples. Trump is announcing already that he is going to ignore the EPA's order to shut down another 500 power plants and allow the other clean-burning plants that were shut down to get their licenses and fire back up. Get ready for more energy competition. Get ready for dropping prices. The hidden taxes against the poorest Americans of every race, color, and creed. Trump reportedly looking for a way to pull U.S. out of climate agreement. Looking for a way. Congress didn't pass it, so the Supreme Court just said that the EPA could do whatever they wanted to. Well, guess what? Guess who's over the EPA? El Presidente. He could abolish that cabinet position. U.S. to push ahead on climate pact before Trump takes over. Kerry, Yahoo News, AP, Reuters. Report, Obama administration giving up on the Pacific trade deal. Not a trade deal, a global government deal to merge the Asian Union, the EU, and the American Union that have already all been set up through the Atlantic Treaty Agreement and TPP. In deep trouble. Chalk that up to the patriots, you, the listeners, the heart of the InfoWar. Chalk that up to Donald Trump. The reason I wanted to start here with some positive news is we're now seeing the game plan against Trump. When he's still 2 months out and change, the rest of November, December, and then, 18 days into January. We're more than 2 months out. We're more than 60 days out. 67 days. Thank you, Darius. You popped in my ear. 67 days out and they're already saying he failed and didn't deliver. That's going to be their tactic. It's also going to be something I discovered yesterday that made me so mad it gave me a headache, and that rarely happens because I hate Amy Schumer. Ever since I saw her pig face on TV and her anti-family garbage and know that they force-feed her to all the young girls in America and she's not even popular, she's a failure. I saw this headline. It punched me in the stomach because it was a fake headline the New York Times had put out in an article over a year ago that they had to retract. But for this, they dolled up. I'm going to show this to you later. It's up on Infowars.com with video. They dolled up a fake news headline from supposedly 20 years ago with yellowed, acid-damaged paper and jaggedly cut edges. And it's supposedly Donald Trump saying, if I were to run, I'd run as a Republican. They're the dumbest group of voters in the country. They believe anything on Fox News. I could lie and they'd still eat it up. I bet my numbers would be terrific. At the end of a lengthy article she puts out, she admits it's a fake quote. But she knows full well 90+% of people would never read down to the bottom of it to find out. She says it's fake. This is super fraud. Now, why do I mention that? Because there's so many of these that I can't even cover them all. You're going to have to decipher it yourself, deal with it yourself, because a lot of the time they don't admit it's a fake. I mean, I'm seeing stuff now where they are saying things about me, which is fine. They're liars. They've been discredited. They've lost so far. But they're going to the next level. They're not backing down. They're only intensifying their lies, where they'll write the wildest crap about me that I never even said. They'll usually kind of trim it apart and move it around and change it when they lie. Now they're doing stuff just whole hog I never said. So they're hitting next level, ladies and gentlemen. So it goes on and on. Now, that said, let me give you the big news here. Most people, if they had a lengthy conversation with President-elect, would tell you all about it. And the conversation was not off the record. I asked the president, Donald Trump, Friday, if it was off the record. He said no. But most of the conversation is going to be off the record. Just because the enemies out there try to use this against the movement to restore the republic. But I can assure you Donald Trump's for real. He knows exactly what he's doing. And I'm going to give him my complete backing and confidence until I see the policies he starts to deliver. And he's going to try to deliver them or die fighting. He's never let me down. He's never let you down. And I happen to know for a fact that Donald Trump Jr. is not going to let you down. He's a big listener for years. And I'm going to just stop right there. But Donald Trump's for real, ladies and gentlemen, and that's why they're so scared of him. I have a clip coming up of Dave Chappelle, it's up on Infowars.com, saying, let's give Donald Trump a chance. And I've always liked Dave Chappelle when I've seen him on TV. I went and saw his concert, and I guess he bought into the hype, and it was just the biggest race-baiting thing I ever heard. I want to hear some funny comedy, man, not about how white people or black people, this or that, all this race comedy. It gets a little old. I've never been big on the race jokes. It's not that I've been politically correct growing up my life. I like to think about people as individuals, and then if I don't like that individual, I'll tell you why I don't like them. It's not because of what color they are. But the old Dave Chappelle was back, and he just made a really great point about we're saying this guy can't govern and can't rule, just like people used to say black people couldn't rule or couldn't come be in the White House. And he goes, let's just give Donald Trump a chance. And only Dave Chappelle could say that to the Saturday Night Live audience. They didn't really even boo. Because really, what has Donald Trump done except say he'd try to have major reinvestment in black communities and cut taxes? And I mean, the truth is, Donald Trump is going to deliver. And the media is going to do everything they can to try to stop it. Because the media works for foreign multinationals that want to sew this country up. They want to bag this nation up. They want us poor so they can buy everything up, folks. It's real simple. We'll be right back. Stay with us. By the way, Nico Acosta, our great lead producer here for the radio/TV transmission 6 days a week, 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. Central. And then, of course, we come back Sundays, 4 to 6 p.m. I came here and I said, look at this, Nico. And he said, no, I put that on screen for you when you came in today. I'd forgotten the time Donald Trump, I guess 10 years ago, the 43rd president of the United States, But back in the future, he body slams the guy and, of course, does a mock beat-up of him. So he is a great actor. But he is going to actually deliver lower taxes and turn the carbon taxes off. That alone will be a death blow to the globalists. And he's moving in that direction right now. But for TV viewers, here it is, Donald Trump slamming down the opposition. We ought to get this and load this in the computer and actually play it with audio. Trump doing a mock beat-up. Oh, it's hilarious. Just the fact that he'd go out there and do all that. He's so ridiculous. I love it. He's got such an amazing sense of humor. Hey, will you guys get that with audio, please? I want to play this for everybody. There's Vince McMahon. Oh, my gosh. They got to get his head shaved when Trump beats him. Oh, those guys are ridiculous. Okay, let's expand on all this. I want to play the Dave Chappelle clip in a little while, but first off, we've got to play this clip one more time, and then I want to walk through the attacks and what's going to happen. They're trying to get Priebus in right now. Steve Bannon was the general that ran the attack, the best person in the campaign. I've talked to people inside the campaign, not just Roger Stone from outside the campaign. Bannon really kicked ass, the head of Breitbart.com. So we need Bannon to be the chief of staff. He's hardcore, folks. I mean, Bannon, since he took over Breitbart, they run my videos, they run our articles, they love what we do, they get it. They've gotten more hardcore like us. They've moved more towards Drudge and InfoWars on the libertarian constitutional side than mainline Republican. And in some cases have surpassed what I've done. So I'm very, very excited to see that. Reince Priebus, the head of the Republican Party, backstabbed Trump 100 different ways. When Trump finally defeated him so many times, he kind of backed off at the end. But all I can tell you is we absolutely need to try to keep as many establishment people out as we can. Now, here's the deal. Obviously, Trump knows to really get things done, if someone who's been on the inside will come over to our side, then that's fine, as long as the policies then flow towards the Constitution and the Bill of Rights. But if you get enough old guard, neocons, Democrats, Republican establishment in, then the assassination attempt level goes way up because they'll be able to come in and take over very, very quickly. Mike Pence is trusted by Trump. I trust the vice president. He's a patriot. He's pro-gun, pro-sovereignty. He wants to control our borders. He's a little too pro-war towards Russia, but compared to Hillary Clinton, he is a peacenik. Now, all of that said, I should have written notes about what I would talk about with my discussion with the president-elect Friday, because some of it would be newsmaking. Trump is just so real. It was all very, very positive. But later in the broadcast, I'm going to sit here and think about it during the break. I'm going to write down a few notes of what he told me, what we talked about, that I can relay to the viewers out there. But number one, he just called me to thank you. And to thank, of course, myself and the crew. They're fully aware that we had 85 million. We thought it was 70. It was 85 million the 7 days from a few days before the election right through to yesterday. So we're talking 80-plus million conservatively just on videos online. That's not counting 5 million a day terrestrial radio. We've gone from, we could never get above 170 affiliates. It's a few times 190, but it would always, stations change hands, they sell, they change formats. We never got to 200. We're at like 250. It was like 230 a week ago. We're like 250 now. And we're talking blowtorch stations, AM, FM across the country. The InfoWars taking over, folks. It's a big deal. Now, some people, and I want to address this now because it's so important, and I'm going to come back and play all the clips for the next long segment, are saying, Alex, you're the establishment now. You're the elite now. We've gotten a beachhead in Washington that's tenuous. A big beachhead, though. Getting that beachhead is half the battle. In fact, if Trump has the initiative and we back him, I'd say 70% of the battle's won. The rest of it's moral for us individually in our own lives to work hard, be good people, and do the right thing. But we're at least 50% of the way there right now. But, hey, that's a long way to fall as well. I'm the opposite of establishment. I want to be the guy out in the wilderness that's trying to wake folks up and being able to be the purist and talk about what's right and what's good like Ron Paul does. It's a different thing to have your hands in the guts doing the emergency surgery with how big this government is in bureaucracy, the biggest thing in the world. But believe me, Trump is in there. He is moving to get it done, and he is the outsider. He's the consummate outsider. They hit him with everything he had, and it failed. Every lie, every fake poll. And the big win is the establishment is totally discredited, is a huge joke, and the only way Trump loses is by being gracious and giving quarter. And if folks don't know about fencing or war, they said before a battle, no quarter taken, no quarter given. A white flag means you're giving up. If an army's running black flags from the beginning of a fight, it means we're not giving up. If there's a skull on a flag, pirates didn't invent this, by the way, folks. It means we're going to kill you. We don't just take prisoners, we're going to kill you. If blood's coming out the skull, it means we're going to torture you. And armies would fly those flags. So the black flag means no surrender. They're running a black flag up, folks. They're not surrendering. So it's not we want to persecute Hillary and all. It's justice. He's got to keep his promises. They're promising him now they'll back off, let him have his agenda if he just is nice to them. Once he gets in, they're going to start up a bunch of controversies. They're going to sap out his first 100 days or so, and then he'll be pretty much a lame duck. They're going to start impeachment proceedings run by the Republican Party itself. Get ready. That's already leaked. I'm going to get to that later. And people finally know to listen to me, that I know what I'm talking about. This is the current thinking. Sure, reconciliation. Let's all be nice. No one in the liberal media is saying that except Dave Chappelle. He's a maverick. And he's always bitched about black leaders only taking money from black folks and then selling them out. He likes what Trump's saying. I mean, if you really listen to what Trump's saying, you know what? I think black people should have lower taxes in predominantly black areas and tax incentives because it's not taking money from somebody else. It's your money. Let you keep it. I'm all for that. Give folks a leg up that have been disadvantaged. I'm all for cutting poor people's taxes across the board. I don't care what color you are. The way you break down his main tax plan, $40,000 or less, zero federal tax. Zip. Zero, zero, zero. Boy, they don't want you to hear that, do they? So Trump just wanted to say thank you to the listeners. He said what amazing people say all over the country. He's just, oh, my God, I can't believe the influence you've got, obviously. It's just amazing. And we're aware of the numbers. We've looked at it. It's just phenomenal. I mean, we talked about, he was like, what is it, 75, 80 million a week? We're like, yeah, something like that. It was a good discussion. We'll be back. Stay with us.
Electrify your day with Secret 12. It's like lightning in a bottle. We all have days in which we just can't seem to perform at the level we'd like to. InfoWars Life Secret 12 is designed to naturally energize your body and mind with 2 great tasting and super high quality forms of vitamin B12. Proper vitamin and nutrient intake is essential to keep your body functioning at optimum levels. The reality is, it's hard to take in the proper amount of vitamins we need each day with our modern diets. Secret 12 by InfoWars Life is an easy way to naturally upgrade your vitamin B12 intake and support your body's natural systems. It pairs 2 forms of vitamin B12 into one explosive formula. Vitamin B12 supports healthy energy levels through red blood cell formation and aiding in the body's natural processes, but it also assists with many other functions of the body. Electrify your mind and body and take your health to the next level. Experience the power of Secret 12 at InfoWarsLife.com. That's InfoWarsLife.com.
Every swing state unless Hillary tried to steal it. Well, we were proven right. He did win, but she successfully stole at least 5 states. The numbers are overwhelmingly clear. I had Bev Harris, the Democrat, the liberal, the top election fraud expert in the country, extremely bipartisan, totally respected. And she came out and laid out the fact that they were going to try to steal it from Trump beforehand, and they certainly did. And she concurred on those key states.
Alex Jones Show, because there is a war on for your mind.
Last Sunday, we were sitting here only 2 days out from the presidential election, chewing our fingernails. I was telling you that the internal polls showed Donald Trump was going to win, basically, before I plunge into all the latest news and information. And I want people to savor this victory. I was the one Tuesday night, Wednesday morning saying, look, they're going to counterstrike. Soros will fund a bunch of riots. They're going to try to block him in Congress. Our fight has just begun. But it is important to basically think about what we have done together, because it's big. It's very, very big. Where Hillary, the evidence leans towards, stole it. Lots of evidence of late night, right as the polls are closing, some precincts getting 100% of the voters voting. That never happens. Or sometimes more than 100% voting. Major evidence. But despite that, still Donald Trump becomes the 45th president of the United States. I want to pull back here. The entire establishment media has been discredited. All the pollsters have been turned into laughingstocks. The entire political correct cult trying to bully this country into submission to cultural tyranny has been blown into a million pieces.